Most of us think of the internet as a vast, limitless place where we can find almost anything. But what if I told you that the internet we know is just the surface? Beneath it lies a hidden layer, a place intentionally cut off from public access, where anonymity is king. This is the dark web, and today we're going to take a peek into its shadows. Title screen, Dark Web, Part 1, Secrets of the Hidden Internet. The internet we use daily, known as the surface web, is only a small fraction of the entire internet. Below it lies the deep web, pages not indexed by search engines like private databases and medical records. But deeper still is the dark web. The dark web is part of the deep web, but requires special software like Tor to access. It's intentionally hidden with layers of encryption that make it hard for anyone, government, hackers, or everyday users, to track who's there or what they're doing. So who's using the dark web and why? Well, there are many reasons, some good, some not so much. For some, like journalists and activists, it's a place to communicate without fear of surveillance. They use the dark web to report on sensitive issues or reach out to sources in areas with strict censorship. Then there are the hackers, or cyber pirates, as some call them. They use the dark web as a meeting ground, a place to exchange tools and tactics without being seen. But there's a darker side. Some use the dark web to engage in illegal activities, buying and selling things that would never see the light of day on the surface web. In a way, the dark web is a digital frontier, where anonymity creates both freedom and danger. Accessing the dark web isn't like typing darkweb.com into a browser. To even begin, you need specialized software. The most common is Tor, which stands for the Onion Router. Why onion? Because it layers data to protect your identity, like peeling an onion. Tor bounces your IP address across multiple servers, each one adding another layer of encryption. By the time you reach your destination, any tracking information is scrambled beyond recognition. This process, called onion routing, makes users nearly impossible to trace, which is why it's so valuable to people needing absolute privacy. Now, let's talk about one of the most notorious aspects of the dark web, its marketplaces. Imagine an Amazon or eBay, but instead of books or electronics, some vendors are selling stolen data, illegal substances, and occasionally much darker things. While many dark web marketplaces have been shut down by authorities, new ones always seem to spring up, evolving to evade law enforcement. These sites use cryptocurrency like Bitcoin, making transactions anonymous and almost untraceable. The lack of oversight and regulation in these spaces attracts a mix of curious browsers, serious buyers, and cyber criminals. And while some marketplaces are scams, others are highly organized with ratings and reviews like any online store. For many, the dark web is more than just a hidden part of the internet. It's a source of fear, and some of it isn't unwarranted. From urban legends of red rooms, live-streamed torture sessions, to black market auctions for stolen data, there's a lot to be wary of. The dark web hosts some disturbing content, but it's not all true crime. While some stories are exaggerated, it's undeniable that this hidden world has its fair share of illegal and morally questionable activity. For many, the fear of the dark web isn't just what you'll see, but the fact that it exists at all, a world where anyone can be anonymous and anything might be possible. Now, before we wrap up, let's separate some of the myths from reality. Myth number 1. The dark web is only for criminals. Not everyone on the dark web is a criminal. Many use it for legitimate purposes, like privacy protection, or sharing sensitive information under oppressive regimes. Myth number 2. The dark web is one big marketplace for illegal goods. In reality, while marketplaces do exist, they're just one small part of the dark web. Many sites are forums, chat rooms, or even resources for researchers and journalists. Myth number 3. Everything on the dark web is disturbing or illegal. While the dark web does host disturbing content, most of it is just obscure, with forums, blogs, and hidden communities that value privacy. So that's an introduction to the dark web. It's not a place for the faint of heart, and it's not without its risks. But there's more to uncover. In part 2, we'll go deeper into some of the most shocking stories and legends tied to the dark web. from secret societies to hidden services that defy the imagination. If you're brave enough to keep watching, join me as we dive deeper into the unknown.